Helen's doctor just told her she needs something called a MOCA test, and she's terrified. "Is this where they tell me I have Alzheimer's?" she asked her daughter. "What if I fail? What if I can't remember anything?" If you or someone you love has been told you need cognitive testing and you're worried about what that means, you're not alone. Today I'm walking you through exactly what the MOCA test is, what it measures, and what the experience is really like. By the end of this video, you'll understand why this test is actually a helpful tool, not something to fear, and how it helps doctors provide better care for your brain health. The MOCA test stands for Montreal Cognitive Assessment, and it's one of the most widely used cognitive screening tools in healthcare today. Helen's doctor explained it this way: "Think of it like a blood pressure check for your brain. It gives us a snapshot of how your thinking abilities are functioning right now." Unlike the simple memory questions you might get during a regular doctor visit, like "What year is it?" or "Who's the president?" the MOCA test is designed to detect subtle changes in cognitive function that those basic questions might miss. It was specifically created to catch mild cognitive impairment that could be the earliest sign of conditions like Alzheimer's disease. Here's what many people don't realize. The MOCA test isn't about passing or failing. There's no such thing as failing a cognitive assessment. It's a diagnostic tool that helps doctors understand how your brain is functioning in different areas and whether any changes need further investigation. Helen's doctor ordered the test because she'd mentioned having trouble remembering appointments and feeling more confused when managing her finances. These subtle changes are exactly what the MOCA test is designed to evaluate. Problems that might not show up in casual conversation but could indicate early cognitive changes. The test was developed in Montreal in 1996 by Dr. Ziad Nasreddine, specifically because existing cognitive tests were missing people with mild cognitive impairment. It's now used in over 100 countries and has been translated into more than 60 languages, making it one of the most trusted cognitive assessment tools worldwide. What makes the MOCA test particularly valuable is that it can detect cognitive changes about 5 to 10 years earlier than some other screening tests, giving doctors and families more time to plan and potentially intervene with treatments that might slow progression. The MOCA test evaluates 6 key areas of cognitive function, and understanding what each area measures helps explain why the test is so comprehensive. Let me walk you through what Helen experienced in each section. First is executive function and attention. This includes your ability to plan, focus, and switch between different tasks. Helen was asked to draw lines connecting numbers and letters in a specific sequence, 1 to A to 2 to B, and so on. This tests whether your brain can hold multiple instructions in mind while executing a task. She also had to listen to a series of letters and tap her hand every time she heard the letter A. Second is memory, which includes both immediate and delayed recall. Helen was read a list of 5 words and asked to repeat them immediately. Then, after completing other parts of the test, she was asked to recall those same words again, about 10 to 15 minutes later. This tests both short-term memory and the ability to form new memories. Third, language abilities. Helen was shown pictures of animals and asked to name them, but not obvious ones like cats and dogs. She had to identify a cow, a peacock, and a snake. She was also asked to repeat sentences with complex grammar and to name as many words as possible that start with a specific letter in 1 minute. Fourth is Visual-Spatial Skills. This is where Helen had to copy a complex geometric figure and draw a clock showing a specific time. These tasks test whether the brain can process visual information and translate it into motor actions accurately. Before we continue with the remaining areas, if this explanation is helping you understand cognitive testing better, please hit that subscribe button. Many people avoid necessary cognitive evaluation because they don't understand what's involved, and your support helps other families access this important information. Fifth is abstract thinking. Helen was asked to explain how 2 items are similar, for example, how a train and bicycle are alike. This tests whether the brain can think beyond concrete, literal connections to find abstract relationships. Sixth is orientation, which tests awareness of time, place, and situation. Helen was asked about the current date, month, year, day of the week, the place she was in, and what city she was in. This seems simple, but changes in orientation can be early signs of cognitive problems. When Helen arrived for her MOCA test, she was surprised by how relaxed and conversational the experience felt. The healthcare provider, in her case a neuropsychologist, explained each task before they began and emphasized that this was about understanding how Helen's brain was functioning, not judging her intelligence. The entire test takes about 10 to 15 minutes, which was shorter than Helen expected. She'd worried about sitting through hours of testing, but the MOCA is designed to be efficient while still being thorough. The testing room was quiet and comfortable, with good lighting and minimal distractions. Helen appreciated that the person administering the test was patient and encouraging. When she struggled with certain tasks, they didn't make her feel bad or rush her along. Instead, they simply noted her responses and moved to the next section. This isn't a timed test where speed matters. Accuracy and effort are what count. One thing that surprised Helen was the variety of tasks. Just when she thought she understood what type of questions to expect, they'd switch to something completely different. This variety is intentional. It prevents people from getting into a rhythm with one type of thinking and ensures the test evaluates different cognitive abilities. The healthcare provider explained each instruction clearly and would repeat directions if Helen needed clarification. She never felt like she was being tricked or that the questions were deliberately confusing. Everything was straightforward, even if some tasks were challenging. Helen also learned that it's normal to find some parts easier than others. The test is designed so that different sections challenge different cognitive abilities, and most people will have strengths and weaknesses across the various tasks. What relieved Helen most was understanding that her effort and cooperation mattered more than getting every answer right. The test is about seeing how her brain approaches problems and processes information, not about achieving a perfect score. The MOCA test is scored out of 30 total points, with different sections contributing different numbers of points based on the complexity of the cognitive skills being tested. Helen's healthcare provider explained that interpreting these scores requires professional training and consideration of many factors beyond just the numbers. Generally speaking, scores of 26 and above are considered normal, though this can vary based on education level and cultural factors. Scores between 18 to 25 might suggest mild cognitive impairment, while scores below 18 could indicate more significant cognitive concerns. However, these are just rough guidelines. The real value is in the professional interpretation. Helen learned that her score of 24 didn't automatically mean she had dementia. Her healthcare provider explained that they needed to consider her education level, her primary language, any medication she was taking, her stress level during testing, and whether she had any hearing or vision problems that might affect her performance. The MOCA test is a screening tool, not a diagnostic test. This means it can identify people who might need further evaluation, but it can't diagnose specific conditions like Alzheimer's disease. Think of it like a smoke detector. It can alert you to potential problems, but you need further investigation to understand what's causing the smoke. Helen's results led to additional testing, including blood work to rule out vitamin deficiencies and thyroid problems, and a more comprehensive neuropsychological evaluation. Her healthcare provider emphasized that catching cognitive changes early, if that's what was happening, meant more treatment options and better outcomes. What surprised Helen most was learning that some cognitive changes can be reversed or improved with treatment. Depression, medication side effects, sleep disorders, and nutritional deficiencies can all cause cognitive symptoms that improve once the underlying problem is addressed. The key message Helen took away was that the MOCA test was the beginning of getting answers, not a final verdict on her cognitive future. Helen's MOCA test experience ended up being much less frightening than she'd anticipated. Understanding what the test measured and why her doctor recommended it helped her approach the evaluation as a helpful diagnostic tool rather than something to fear. I've put together additional cognitive testing resources in the description below, including links to reputable sites where you can learn more about the MOCA test. Remember, while sample tests exist online for educational purposes, the MOCA should only be administered and interpreted by trained healthcare professionals for accurate results. What questions do you have about cognitive testing? Are you or someone you love facing an upcoming evaluation? Share your concerns in the comments. Understanding what others are going through helps reduce the anxiety many people feel about cognitive assessments. If this video helped demystify the MOCA test and reduced your concerns about cognitive evaluation, please subscribe for more educational content about brain health and dementia from someone who understands these complex medical journeys. For more information about early signs that might prompt cognitive testing, watch this video about warning signs families often miss. And if you're interested in protecting your brain health, this video covers lifestyle factors that support cognitive function. I'll see you there.